Hello everyone, my name is Hitendra and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to talk about class and object in Java. So I supposed to talk about methods in today's session, but I think it's good to know class and object before methods. So today these are the OOPS concept. So we'll discuss about the bit of OOPS concept today. So let's get started with the first slide. So what is OOP? So OOP stands for object-oriented programming. So as the name suggests, it uses objects in programming. So basically, object-oriented programming aims to implement real-world entities like inheritance, hiding features, polymorphism, etc. in programming. So basically, there are two types of programming languages. One is object-oriented, and another one is procedure language, which follows the certain procedure. So basically, Java is both, but it's more of having OOPS concept. So there are different features like inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction. So the main aim of OOP is to bind together the data and the functions that operates on them. So basically it deals with data and the methods. Sorry. So these are the OOPS concept. So Java is an object-oriented language. So as a language that has object-oriented features, so Java supports the following fundamental concepts. So we have different OOPS concepts like polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction, classes, objects, and methods. So we'll talk about classes and objects in today's session, and in the next session we'll talk about methods. So what is an object? So in object-oriented programming, whatever we do, anything, whenever you do something, you need an object. So suppose you want to print something, you need an object. You want to calculate something, you need an object. You want to execute certain process, you want to process something, you want to save something, or you want to return something, you need an object. So object doesn't do the things individually, and it basically object has couple of information. So the first thing is what object knows. That means variables where we store the values. And the other thing is what object does. So there are certain actions that has to be performed, right? So for that we need methods to execute certain tasks and process. And objects are created using class. And class and objects are both interrelated. So we need, to create the object we need class, and for class to create the instance of class we need object. So basically class and objects are interrelated with each other. So if you consider the real world example, so there are so many things which are we are surrounded by different objects. So like the car is object, dogs, humans, etc. the example of objects. And basically there are two things that objects have, which are state and behavior. If you consider a dog, then its state is name, breed, color, and the behavior is barking, wagging the tail, running. So these are the different behavior. So basically I'll give an example. So suppose you want to sorry. So suppose you want a wooden table. So what you'll do, you want to create a wooden table. So for that you need to hire one carpenter. So you'll ask him to create table for you. So you'll pay some amount for that. So definitely a carpenter will do the job for you, but he needs design. So that design is nothing but so see, the creation is not the big task, but he needs some information, right, for design pattern and some other things. So he needs design. So that design is nothing but class, right? So in the same way in programming also we need class. It's kind of structure. So what is a class? So class is a blueprint or design from which individual objects are created. Okay, so in this example, so we have class dog, which has different attributes like breed, age, and color, and these are the different behavior. So these three are state, and these are the different behavior of dog, like barking, hungry, sleeping, etc. So let me go to the next slide. So how to create an object. So in Java, an object is created from a class. So class name or reference variable name, and this is the keyword to create the object. So new class name. This is basically constructor. So we'll talk about constructor later on. So when an object of class is created, the class is said to be instantiated. So all the instances share the attributes and the behavior of the class. Share the attributes means variables and the behavior means methods. But the values of those attributes, that is the state, are unique for each object, and each object and a class may have any number of instances. Sorry. So we have a different topics to cover here. Accessing attributes, we'll talk about this, and modify attributes. We have override existing values. Attributes, nothing but the variables. And we have multiple objects and multiple attributes. So we'll talk about this using Java program. Don't worry about that. So let me create one sample Java program for object and class. Object and class. This is my project name. So let me create it. Finish. And inside this SRC folder, let me create one package. Object and class. Let me create one class inside this package. Object and class demo. So basically what I've done is I've created one project called object and class, and inside that I have a SRC folder, and in that SRC folder I have created one package, object and class, and inside that package I have created one class called object and class demo. So let me create a few variables here, int n1, int n2, and int result. So suppose you want to add these two numbers, n1 and n2. So here I have taken three variables, n1 and n2, and will store the result into this variable. So now I'll tell you how to create the object. So using new keyword you can create the object. So where is my class name? So basically this is how you can create the object. You need constructor. Constructor means the method name. Method has the same name with the class name. So this, we'll talk about constructor later on. So if you write this piece of code, then object of the class will be created. But you need to store this object to somewhere, right? To some variable. So we'll create one variable of type this class type. So let me give obj, and here we'll store this object into this obj reference. So this is my reference, and this reference is of this class type, and I have stored this object into this reference type. So basically you can write these two lines of code in single line, which is the recommended approach. So here you can write like this: class name obj is equal to new class name, and like this. So here I have created an object using this piece of code and stored in this reference variable. So let me now print this result here, and we have to make it static. So let me run it. So it should print 0. So here it will print 0 because result is not declared any value. not initialized any value here, so that's why it gives 0. Now let me access these attributes using my object. So object1 will assign some values, right? So that n1 is equal to 10 and obj dot n2 let me do 12. So now I have used my object to access the attributes. obj.n1 is equal to 10. I have given the value 10 and this one, and let me run it. Still it will give 0 because we have not accessed the method yet. It will give 0. Now let me call the method. Sorry, I have not created the method, so let me create method. Addition, suppose you want to add these two numbers, so you need method. So result is equal to n1 plus n2. So here I have created one method in this class. So we need return type, so it returns nothing, so we can use void. And let me give some access modifier which we have discussed in the last tutorial. So this is my method. So what it does, what it will do, it will add these two numbers n1 and n2. Now let me call this method obj dot addition. Now let me run this. So here we go, we got 22. So what I have done, I have created three variables, and here we have method addition which will add two numbers n1 and n2 and store the values in result. I have taken another variable result and it will store the values in this result. So using this object, I have created the object in main method. So using this obj reference, I have assigned the values for n1 and n2. So I have given here like obj.n1 is equal to 10, obj.n2 is equal to 12, and here I have called main method which is addition, and I have given some print statement here, so that will print that whatever values was assigned to result variable. So now let me discuss about few things which I have noted down here. So accessing attributes. So accessing attributes using this object, I have accessed n1 and n2. Using this object, I have accessed this n1 and n2. So that means this line means accessing attribute this one. The second thing is modify attributes, set the value. So here what I have done, suppose n1 have some values here. Okay, so n1 have already have 13, and here I have override the values, so it will give 22. Let me print that 22. So that means modify attributes. So here what I have done, using the object I have modified the attributes, because n1 is already having values, but I have used this object to modify the attribute values. Now what is the third one, is override existing values. So we can override the values using these things. This is the same thing. So I have override the values using obj.n1. Multiple objects. So if you create multiple objects of one class, you can change the attribute values in one object without affecting the attributes value in other. So I'll show you how to do that. So let me create another object obj1. So suppose we want to here we have value like 12 and 13. I have already initialized value of n1 and n2, and suppose I'm using obj1 here. So what I have done, using the new object obj1, I have modified the attributes, right? N1 and N2 I have modified using this object obj1, but here I'm accessing obj only. So let me print this. It should print 13 plus 12, 25 here. So that means this line, if you create multiple objects of one class, you can change the attribute values in one object without affecting the attribute values in other object. So using this object I have changed the values, right? So but it doesn't affect this object obj. So suppose let me access this one, obj1 dot addition. Now it should print this one using these values, because later I have called using obj1 object. So this 22, 10 plus 12 will be assigned to this variable result. Class topic multiple attributes. So multiple attributes means, so let me create another program. Multiple attributes. So how to do that? Let me do that. So suppose here you have a string first name as my or Deepak, and string last name. Here you have Patel. Okay, and suppose you want to print this. So let me create the object of this class. Obj is equal to new. So let me print now. First name plus and what is obj dot last name. L name. Now let me print this. Deepak Patel. Give some space. So it will print Deepak Patel. So here I have used multiple attributes. So these two attributes in single statement. So in this way you can use the objects. So hope you are clear with objects and class. So in the next video we'll talk about methods in Java. So basically what we have done, we have created, let me go over this program again. So I have created a couple of values here, variables here, and we want addition of these two numbers and storing this result variable. So for that I have created one method addition, n1 and n2, and here I have created one object using this class, and obj is the reference variable, and using this reference variable I have accessed the value of attributes values of n1 and n2, where we can provide some values here. if we don't have values here, so we can provide using objects here, and we can call this method, and we can print the results here. So in the next video we'll discuss about methods, guys. So thank you for watching my video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.